Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's live. Hopefully, people will start turning up. I am a small bit late. I'm trying something new though, because what I've done is I've left comments on uh, for the replay, so people can see the comments when they come back on. Army dude, hello. How are you? How are you keeping? Hope everyone is well. Hello, Stan. How are you doing? Hope you are keeping well. Uh, Plans will start filtering in now bit by bit. Stan, sorry I couldn't talk to you very long on the phone the other day. I was literally just at home from work, but I will be I will give you a chance or a call over the weekend um at some point in time. So I hope that's okay. So I hope everyone's been doing well. A couple of things to talk about today on the old collection front and up and coming stuff um in relation to videos. But as always, I'll give you a few minutes for people to start coming in, and you can chat amongst yourselves in the comment section. So yeah, so what I've done actually is I've literally left the comments on where before I wasn't. There was no comments because Danny, a friend of mine, Herefordshire Regimental Museums or Herefordshire Regiment or Herefordshire Lad on TikTok. If any of you have TikTok, he's Herefordshire Regimental Museums on YouTube. Asked me, could we leave the comments on? Or is there a way to leave the comments on so people can read the comments and form their own opinion and form their own answers and stuff? So yes, so I've left the comments on. So be clean and be good because it will be replayed. We'll try it for a few weeks. We'll see how we get on anyway. I finally got a piece of webbing and mark for Osprey body armor. Very good. So I presume you're going to. Are you collecting Afghan stuff? With the Osprey body armor. Um, I can't remember. Was it 2006? No, it should have been later. Oh, 7 or 8, maybe the Osprey body armor came on stream. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. So it is absolutely Baltic here in Ireland at the minute on the west coast. It's freezing, drizzling rain. Hang on, actually, I just checked. Yeah, it's 4 degrees. 4 degrees, so it is cold. So, what are we going to talking about? Well, we're talking about a few things. So, up and coming videos of stuff that I have been up to. So, just simple things. So, some of you know I do an awful lot of. I've started getting back into it. I'm doing an awful lot of reenacting and stuff like that. So I was kindly gifted this at some point in time by someone. I don't know. So what that is, it's a wash roll. Now I can't find any marks or dates on it. Let me show you there again. I can't find any marks or dates on it. So I'm not sure if it's actually British or American. Now, believe it or not, different militaries' surplus have a different smell. This one smells British to me. Um, so yeah. So I've started to put together a little wash roll from the 80s that I can use in my off banner collection and Falkland stuff and things like that. So I really enjoy putting the small kit together. Uh, the likes of wash roll. So when I say small kit, I'm talking about this, which is let me just find it here quickly. Is that the one I'm looking for? No, it's not. Um, it's actually probably above in a box now. My World War II box it is, I'd say. It is in my World War II box. But yeah, so I like putting small kit together. So simple things like there's my World War II knife, fork, and spoon set. I can also use it for First World War, I suppose, if I must. But I like see this type of stuff. Whereas you have a little wallet with some authentic World War II cash in it. No, I'm not finished this yet neither. I need to do a bit more. I want to get like pictures and rail tickets and things like that. Just that little extra for your to show your kit. Or not show your kit, but to just have your pockets and pocket fillers and things like that. There's my little World War II paybook, another little thing. Um, the famous AB64. So yeah, so just little things like that for pocket fillers. So that's what I'm doing with this. Is I'm making a wash roll from the 80s. Hang on a second, a few things are coming in. My RT, evening from Sweden. Hello, how are you doing? How are you keeping? I like to collect 2000s, 2010s minute surplus because it's easy to find. Exactly, and it's fairly cheap at this stage. It's for somebody starting off in the hobby, or even if you've been in the hobby a while, that's an ideal place to start. Is current surplus. Or even Iraq and Afghanistan stuff now is getting very, very expensive. Well, excuse me, and very rare. My MRT, I've just got a Swedish, or sorry, Sten. Oh yeah, Sten's talking to my MRT. I've just got an M26 Swedish, no decals on it, so maybe civil defence. Did you had an E-tool in Irish Defence? We did have E-tools. We had the same as the British ones. We didn't call them E-tools. We actually called them entrenching tools. And if I remember correctly, the different units had different SOPs, but where we used to carry ours is on the PLCE Bergen. There's a pocket right in the bottom of the middle, shall we say. So you have an extra pouch you can add to either side, but on the main pouch or the main pack, there's actually a pouch down the bottom, just down here. So if this is the opening, there's a little pouch down here. That's where we used to carry our entrenched tools. We didn't carry them on our weapon or anything. We actually carried them in our packs. They were a battalion item or a stores item, so they were never personally issued to you. You go to battalion stores if you needed one, or if you were on an exercise or whatever, and you draw one from the battalion stores. Which was a bit strange because then if we needed, like, everything mainly got drawn from company stores, like your spare magazine, your spare magazines, which depending, I was in a support company and I was doing a lot of recce. So I actually used to carry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 magazines I used to carry. Whereas most other guys would get 5. They get 1 for the rifle. Sorry, our rifles were stored with a magazine in them, so we used to get 9 magazines plus 1. So I'd actually have the 1 in the magazine, so you'd actually have 10. Whereas the other lads would normally get 4 magazines plus the 1 on the rifle that have 5. 5 magazines. But all those magazines, your bayonet, your BFA, night vision goggles, anything like that, were company stores. But for some reason, we used to get our entrenching tools from the Italian stores. Now I don't know why, but there you go. Kenny, evening beans. Hello, how are you? Kenny. Kenny? Oh, that's Kenny. That was Kenny said that. Hello, Kenny. How are you? My MRT. I'm happy today because I found a frequency meter BC211AF on eBay from England for a really good price. Yeah, so good time. Very good. It's always nice like that when something falls into place, when a part of your collection or you get a new piece for the collection. So I always really, really like that. I am off to Stoneleigh to have military fair next weekend. It is actually next weekend. So yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll be going well. I'll try and do a bit of videoing when I'm over there with my good pal Danny Reese, and we shall do some bits and bobs while we're over there. I know he's got some nice fun and festivities planned for me. So what else is coming up, or what else have I been up to? I actually bought this when I was actually in England the last time. And I picked it up in an Army surplus store. I picked it up very cheap. I picked it up for like £10. But what it is, it's actually a complete. It has been issued, but it's never been used or hasn't been used that much. SA80 cleaning kit. So we will be doing a review on it. As you can see, it's a lot more in depth. There's a lot more items and stuff in it compared to other cleaning kits that you'll get now. This thing even has the muzzle cap, which is very unusual. They normally get lost a lot. So if we don't know what the muzzle cap is, here is why. movie prop. SA80 YouTube movie prop. So that's the muzzle cap. So that fits on like that, and it just keeps the mud and grit and dirt and crap and stuff out of your barrel. There you go. I actually do have a dummy sight now for this as well that I need to put on it, and then that'll be another project completed. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that. Clean the kit. But these are the little items that I like personally. I find interesting. Is the everyday items that the lads would have used for their lives, for their collections, or not for their collections, but for their everyday use. Because I just find it more interesting. And I really like putting the small kit and stuff together. Sorry, the picture falling behind me here. No. Honey, I'm home. Hello, Andrew. How are you? I hope the leg is doing well. Just back from London. I hope the leg is doing well. So yeah. So what else have I been doing? Well, Jim Timber. I was hoping he'd pop in. He might still pop in later. Me and Jim. I converse with an awful lot of lads on this forum, shall we? Stan, Andrew, Danny, Jim, Military Collectibles. I haven't seen Military Collectibles now in a while. I hope he's okay. We converse, swap bits and bobs. Things go here, things go there. And I was talking to Andrew one day because I was actually asking him about my Moro jacket. If any of you haven't seen that video, go have a look at it. Because Jim is in Poland and he's he's actually a British expat and living in Poland. Long story short, he's a very, very knowledgeable guy when it comes to Poland and Cold War and World War II and things like that. So I was chatting to him about the Moro jacket because he actually had gifted it to me previous to that. We're just chatting back and forth about the collection. And I actually have, I should do a video on it. I actually have a huge beret collection. Beret collection, no, not the other one. And I said it to Jim. I said, I only have one Polish beret. I said, I only have the regular army beret. And I like to try and have interesting berets or special forces berets and stuff like that as well. I do have a special forces collection in berets. But the hard thing about getting special forces berets, it's grand buying them surplus and it's grand buying them, like, they're everywhere. You can pick them up anywhere. Like, I'm sure if you went on to SOF now or Soldier Force, you'd pick up an American green beret with the cap edge. But it's nice to have them in the collection. But I when it comes to berets, because how I initially got into it was I was ex-forces. I'm ex-forces. I'm ex-military. We used to swap our berets, and you get different ones. The guys would bring you different ones when they were working with. So I know an awful lot of mine are original. They're all original, pretty much, or have been used, or there's a story behind every single one of them. So yeah, so I was chatting to Jim, going back in the long story, and I said to him, I said, I don't have any Polish berets. I said, I've only got one, Land Army one, the regular infantry one. And he said, leave it with me. I'll have a look around and I'll see what I can do. Because I'm in Poland, it's easier for me to get them. And about 2 or 3 days later, I got a message with this. Or I got a message. He said he had acquired me this, and it was on the way. And what it is, it's actually a Polish para beret. Now I will do an in-depth video on it. This is actually the rank badge. It's pinned onto this because it's never been issued. It's pinned onto the side of it, so I'm half tempted, but I just leave it alone while I get it stitched. So it's never been issued. And what it is, he sent me a little note. Hi John, this is an unissued beret to the 6th PDDD, the 6th Airborne Polish Brigade. It is an officer's rank of a lieutenant colonel, and then it is the 6th Polish words with lots of letters that don't make any sense. Basically paras. They are considered a special forces here in Poland. The beret is pure wool and is made by a famous firm here in Poland. Also another Polish name and lots of letters that I don't know why they're in the same word. And then when you ask Jim how to pronounce it, it'll tell you it doesn't sound anything like that. I have pinned the rank to where it should be if you want to have it sewn on. So yeah, so that's it. So that came in the post there. I was absolutely thrilled with it, or not today, but the other day, and I'm absolutely thrilled with it. And speaking of posts, I'm actually really annoyed still with the post offices, because Jim and another friend of mine or not Jim, but Andrew and another friend of mine in England, were going trading me some bits and bobs. Can't send the stuff because they got hit with an internet thingy, Bobby. Um, there was a cyber attack or something, so they can't send in the international post. Poor old Stan sent me another box. I'm still waiting on that. I actually paid the customs charge on that today, so that should be due. I sent stuff to for Christmas to England to some of the lads over there, to some of my friends. That's all came back because of the strikes on in England. It never got sorted, so I have to send all that back. And there's a box that I sent to Danny Reese for Christmas for him and his family and stuff. It's still, apparently, when I check the tracking number, it's in Sheffield in a sorting office, and it doesn't seem to have moved from there for some reason. So I don't know. Down the big smoke, as they used to say. Yeah, he was. I think it was, Andrew. We're talking about. He was in London for a while. I leg is much better. That's good, Andrew. I'm glad it's better. I thought he was always called Jim too. Jim, not Pat. I'm not sure what you mean, Kenny. Jim Timber. You're on about. Do you have any Scottish African stuff? South African stuff. I do. I did. I actually passed it on. I sent it to a fellow that would use it more for me. If you actually go through my videos, you will find South African webbing. I was at one stage going to try and get Rhodesian stuff, but it's just never materialized. I don't have the time, don't have the space. My collection is mainly World War Two. Um, so yeah, World War One. I do have items. I need to do a bit more on it. I do have stuff from World War One. I do have stuff from World War Two. Op Banner is the main part of my collection. Falklands, things like that. And then I also have a sideline, whereas I do Cold War stuff. Mainly East German, bit of Polish stuff now as well, but mainly East German. And Australians' involvement, or Australian stuff from Vietnam. So they're my main areas of collecting. Um, like if people ask, or people say, like, any advice on people starting off in the hobby, pick an era, pick a time, and research it and research, because you could go everywhere and anywhere. You could, like, militaries, Czechoslovakian, Yugoslavian, Bosnian, French, Napoleonic, American Civil War, British Civil War, Irish Civil War, Irish War of Independence. There's so many offshoots, so you need to sort of pick something that interests you. It could be anything, and go from there. I know when I talk about other guys or other collectors, Danny has gone down so many offshoots. He's done Cold War. He's done American, Australia. That's another part of a collection that I actually still have around the place. Is I have marine stuff from the Pacific. It's another bit of a collection I have. Steel helmet stand started collecting helmets. It's gone out everywhere now. Cold War is mainly his stuff. But he has World War Two stuff. He has Cold British Army, the Ryan stuff. He's got German World War Two stuff. See, that coated over. Excuse me, guys. So yeah, so it goes everywhere. It goes everywhere and anywhere. But you need to, when you're collecting something, you need to pick a subject and get very adept at it. Read into it, research it, things like that. So yeah, I hope that helps. You said Jim was an expat. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I understand what you mean now. He's an ex. He's a British expat living in Poland. So how about that? There we go. Can you make IR impression in Cold War? I could. I don't know how politically correct it could be, but I could do one. Yeah, it's not that hard to do when you consider the war. I could do one from 1916, I suppose, in the War of Independence. But as from the Troubles, you could put together some type of resemblance of a paramilitary, what a paramilitary would be commonly known to have done. Um, but yeah, definitely from the Troubles, it would be a political minefield to do one. But from the likes of 1916, 17, 18, right up until the foundation of the state in 1922, wouldn't be that hard. But it's a political thing to try and do it on this earlier on, and I don't know how YouTube will be happy about it. So yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I wouldn't like to try and do one from the Troubles. I could do one, but I don't think YouTube would be too happy if I did that. So yeah, so that's what the collection's been doing. Up and coming videos as well. Another up and coming videos. We have this thing, which is the battle dress austerity pattern. This was kindly made for me. Not sponsored. It was bought by a company called 1949 240. They're actually on um, Instagram. Oh, Jesus, my ring light's falling. They're actually on Instagram. So what he does is he converts 1949 pattern uniforms into World War II pattern uniforms, and are probably, unless you go down the route of Panther Store, they're the most authentic uniforms you can get. So I will be showing you that. Um, for the group I'm in, we do World War II, Cold War, but my secret collection is stuff from the Balkans War. Oh yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is that Andrew, that's your interest because you actually served in Bosnia. So yeah, so I can understand why. I'm actually involved with Andrew's group, the Combined Living History Group, if I remember correctly, is our official title. Mainly jocks, a couple of Saxons, and an Irish lad thrown into the mix. So yeah, so that's another group that I'm affiliated with. Um, we will be at the Living History UK Festival, which is in Lancashire, and it's a couple of months away, but I will be advertising it. If you're around that area, come and say hello to us. We will be there. I just had a field telephone call from Jim Timber. He's on a 24-hour pass and is in Paris. Oh, very good. Drinking champagne. He won't be with us now. Oh, very good. Well, I hope he looks back at this and sees it anyway. I hope he's having a nice time because I know he's had a bit of a rough year. I like 48 pattern tunics as they are. Well, that's it. Like he just gets them. 1949 battle dress or 48 battle dress, whatever you want to call it, and for reenactors, and he actually does it for museums as well because they're very good. They're nearest you're going to get to the real thing. The material and everything is pretty much the same. Um, so yeah, so they're a very good uniform. Jeans, DPM smock, and the balaclava. IRA kit. That's it, pretty much. They wouldn't have worn the more so. You would have seen them use like donkey jackets, what we used to call donkey jackets back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. It was a black wool jacket with had a piece of leather across the shoulder. It was a workman's jacket. Not if any of you remember the donkey jackets. Yeah, you do see an awful lot of them wearing the 68 pattern American jackets. I see an awful lot of them being worn. Um, More so the likes of the UVF and the UDA and stuff like that. They wore an off. Their camouflage stuff. They actually used an awful lot of Italian camouflage, believe it or not. Um, and then, funny enough, for them when you go to the other side, you go to the IRA, the INLA, and stuff like that. Whenever you do see them wearing camouflage or uniforms and stuff like that, it's British woodland. So yeah, so it's a bit strange. Um, There you go. He's not really in Paris, but I might be drinking champagne. But he might be drinking champagne. Oh, okay. Mullet opinion. Mullet opinion? I'm not sure what you mean on mullet opinion. I nearly have a mullet now at this stage. I need to get a haircut. I meant to get a haircut today, but I didn't get a chance. Army dude. And M16's G3 SLR rifle. I'm not sure what that means. Because you deleted a message, so I don't know whether that's from the previous one. Army dude, if you can verify what you want, task me on that and I will try and answer the question. There is a few good videos of training and when they took down a helicopter with HMG5. That's actually they did have training camps. They did have training camps. There was a few of them raided. There was a few of them found by security forces down south, security forces in the north. They would operate a lot training wise in the south, especially Kerry mountainous regions, things like that. Mayo, as far down as Cork. There was training camps found and stuff like that. Old quarries they would use as target ranges. There was a famous raid where they found a shooting range in an old mine, an old coal mine that the IRA were using. That was in the early 80s, if I remember, when they found that. You need an M16 G3 SLR I could also have a AK. I could also have, as you said, I could have an M16, or as they call it, the Armalite. There's an awful lot of forces called it the Armalite. I could use another AK if I wanted, holding stock AK. Now YouTube, before you lose your twat, these are all deactivated, or they're G3. There you go. What else did you say I needed to use? Oh, SLR. SLR. There you go. So yeah. So I can cover a wide aspect of stuff. It's a prop poo tube. It is a prop. Don't lose your twat. Burning the IRA kit would need an SA80. True story. Yes, they did. There was an SA80 stolen from a patrol where there was lots of stuff like that happened. I have a friend of mine. He actually has a Cromwell helmet that was taken off a soldier on a riot, and it was used then for rioting in the evenings. I know a fella that found a Fairbairn Sykes. It was dropped by Royal Marine. A GPMG, I believe, was found as well another time. There was a famous raid where the IRA back in the 50s, early 60s, dressed as British soldiers and raided the Royal Irish Fusiliers barracks and took a lot of weapons. There was lots of incidents of weapons being stolen and weapons being taken. The IRA stole 100 G3s from the Norwegian army. That now I don't know. I've never heard that one. Romanian AK seemed very common with the front foregrip. Yes, they did, because without getting too graphic, you see an awful lot of them in this configuration. This is why I had this one specially done. So you see this, which is the dongle, known as the dongle foregrip for obvious reasons. But they have this stock on them. And I just close this. So they could carry them under jackets and stuff like that. And literally, have it on a sling, short sling, in under their jackets or their trench coats, whatever, a bit like the 1950s gangsters, or even in cars, and they could literally just swing it out and hold it and just spray. Spray and pray. But yeah, so that was a common tactic when they did use weapons. They would use. There's another famous firefight between the IRA and the British Army, specifically the SAS, where the IRA were going to attack in a police station, and there was an SAS patrol there waiting for them that had been tipped off, and they actually used G3s. Both sides were using G3s. The SAS had a variant of the G3 that had a collapsible stock. After that initial incident, because both sides were actually firing each other with G3s, they after action report was that the SAS said that they wouldn't use G3s in the north anymore because well, not as their main rifle. They still did use it, but it was that they found it hard to distinguish the fire, whether they were still being shot at or what was going on, because both sides were actually using G3s. The sound is similar, obviously, of the rifles. Evening all. John, reference your 1980s wash roll. I have a spare 70s razor and toothbrush, mate. You can have. Oh, perfect. Yeah, Gary, I need to ring you. Remind me. Send me a message during the week. I need to ring you in relation to that other stuff that we've been talking about. Evening, Gary. Evening, Stan. Army dude, if you had AK G3, I could make if I had an AK or a G3, I could make a Lithuanian National Guard kit, 1990s to 2000. Are you actually in Latvian? Are you actually in Latvia? I love my G3A3 used for reenacting airsoft Cold War games. Yeah, exactly. I actually have a full kit, an impression. Probably one of the first ones I ever put together. I have a complete West German impression and uniform. So yeah, so there you go. Right, guys, it's 20 to 9. I need to be off just a little bit early tonight. I need to be off a little bit early because I have some stuff coming up, and I need to get stuff. I'm from Latvia. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Are you living in Ireland now, or are you in the UK, or are you actually in Latvia? Because it's strange, because you can go through YouTube and you can look at the comments and I don't know what you call it, basically pointers and hints and stuff. 99.9% of my following is actually British. I do have some Irish. Irish is catching up as well. There's a lot of Irish coming out. I actually have Australians, and believe it or not, I actually have people from the Philippines. Some Americans as well. David, hello David, how are you? Welcome to the party and fun and festivities. My West German kit is pretty much done. Just need boots. I actually have West German boots. I live in Latvia, but I would like to live in UK or Ireland. You're more than welcome. You're a European country. Don't forget Innistown followers. Yeah, exactly. Bit late, but I'll catch up. Yeah, there's no issue. As I said, I need to leave a bit early tonight because I actually have a real job and stuff to do. So we're going to shut a bit early. Philippines love historical airsoft loadouts. It's big out there, is it? I was wondering why it's people from the Philippines. Obviously I've done a few Australian videos. I need to do some more actually. I need to get out some more like kit and do some videos on the Australian SAS stuff. Yeah. It's interesting. I didn't know that they have a big airsoft historical following, which is pretty cool. Airsoft is massive over there. I know. Well, like a lot of the big airsoft dealers, the likes of Red Wolf and the manufacturers, they're all Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, that type of area. How is that size 5 head of yours? My size 5 head, my 57 head that Jim is or Stan is jealous of. I got a West German parka for €10. Yeah, those the West German parkas Late 80s, yeah, well, that wasn't even late 80s, but that's another jacket actually you see an awful lot being used by the IRA. Is the East German parka or West German parka, the big woolly one. Now, I actually have one of them, so I could technically do an impression. Um, Everybody, I remember everybody in the 80s had one of those jackets. They had a shirt, they had a pants, they had something belonged to the West Germans. Um, Massive as always. I just got the Swedish M56 helmet. Doesn't fit. What camo do you use in your? What camo do you use in your Bundy lid? On my Bundeswehr camo, I don't actually have a helmet for my Bundeswehr. I have a field cap and I have an NCO's P cap, the Alpine cap. I don't actually have a helmet for my Bundeswehr uniform. Um, they use the German M1, or sorry, German M1. Well, yeah, it is a German M1. It's an American M1, but they had their own liner. They literally had like a World War II liner in them. Um, I don't actually have one of those helmets. I need to pick one up. Hopefully, I might see if I can find one somewhere, but I don't actually have one. Never do, never did, never would. Oh, you're talking about they didn't. I don't ever see them like in pictures and references. Like references, guys, is a big thing. If you want to put an impression together, it's pictures. Go by pictures. Don't go by books. Go by pictures. Um, they only had a net on their helmets. I never see them even with scrim. If I remember, just thinking of pictures. If anyone doesn't know what scrim is, that's scrim. It's slang term for scrim. It's this bushy stuff that you see on the side of the helmet. That's scrim. I never ever remember seeing German stuff with scrim. Bundeswehr stuff with scrim. Oh, I can only remember seeing it either plain or with a net. I don't ever remember seeing it any other way. I find PLC webbing. I find a PLC webbing in Irish TPM. You won't find issue PLC webbing in Irish TPM because it was never done. You will find some private purchase stuff, mainly from one company because they're the only ones that had the contract. Company called ProTech. You might find PLC webbing from them in Irish DPM, but you will never find issue stuff. It was always private purchase. The when you see when you see DPM webbing, it will always be the battle vest. It'll never be PLC stuff. The DPM came in when we got battle vests. I actually had one of the prototype ones. I still have it somewhere floating around. One of the prototype Irish DPM battle vests, and I also have a barracks jacket. We called them soft shells. Officially, they were known as barrack jackets. I got a trials version of one of them as well when I was in. I kept it. That would have been 08 or 09 because I had it for about a year just before I left. Yeah, I did. I still have it around somewhere. I'm just take it out. The battle vest, the Irish DPM battle vest. Airsoft chem, but because Japan has banned from having firearms, so collectors had toy ones made. Then people started battling. Oh, so that's how airsoft came about. I always wondered how airsoft came about. Seen a few shots of Bundeswehr with neutral camo nets like grass. Oh yeah, well I presume they had that. I remember colleagues carrying G3s. Yeah, I forgot actually that the REC used to carry G3s. The later version, furniture version of that. Rifle Green, hello, how are you? Hope you're keeping well. Thanks for popping in. Suppose the common, you actually do see the from if I remember off the top of my head. You see you mostly B specials. You see them with Mark IVs. Then you see them with a firearm called the Mini 14. That would be 70s, you'd see those two firearms being used. Then you see the G3 and the SLR being used simultaneously. Then you see the SLR being phased out, and you see G3s. And then towards the 90s, you see the G3s being phased out, and you see an awful lot of MP5s. Solid stock MP5s. You don't see, I can't remember. I presume they had folding stocks as well, but generally it's the solid stock MP5s you see with the up into the 80s and 90s, up until the disbanding of the RUC and the formation of the PSNI. I presume they're still using MP5s. I don't know what their long gun is now, whether there's a need for them to have. Well, I suppose there's always a need for them to have long guns, but their special response teams and stuff like that, I don't know what their long guns are now at the minute. Kenny, before I kill you, if you send John a contact, I can send you photos of lots of Bundes gigs going back in the day. Yeah, there's no problem. I'll send it on to him. There's no hassle if he comes my direction. If there was no Ireland, it would be possible to get Irish GPM. If there was no IRE, it would be possible to get Irish GPM. It's not easy. It's not easy to get Irish GPM. You can buy it on the internet and stuff on eBay and places like that. But in Ireland, you should not have Irish DPM unless you're an ex-soldier or reservist or something like that. It's actually technically illegal to own it. That goes back to the 80s and 90s where the pattern, they don't want that uniform in circulation. I presume when they change in the future, there's talks about them going to a multi-type cam in the next 5 to 6 years. I presume that'll be patented as well, and you won't be allowed to purchase it. Same as police uniforms in this country, you cannot get police forms. Police uniforms. I don't do the contact me via John. I don't know, but I'm there. Okay. If there was no IRA, it would be possible to get out. Yeah, possibly. If the troubles in the north weren't there, I know the laws were brought in because of the troubles in the north. So I presume the Irish Army don't do surplus. It's one thing they don't do. All our SLRs got sold, or our FNs, I believe. They kept some for DMRs, designated marksman's rifles, and the Rangers kept a few of them. But the vast bulk of the FNs went to the reserves, and then when the reserves changed over, I believe they sold them to India. No, sorry, they sold the 303s to India, to the police force in India. They sold the 303s or the SLRs or the FNs, Jesus, so many abbreviations, to, I can't remember who they sold them to, Brazil, I could have been Brazil. But actual physical military kit, like jackets, jumpers and stuff like that, pantses, it's hard to get. Removed before he reads it. Retracted. I have seen ARW multicam uniforms for sale on eBay. Yeah, you will see them for sale on eBay. They won't be sold in the country. You will see them be sold outside the country. I could send stuff to John and he could send it to you. Yeah, whatever works, lads. Whatever works for you. Still have my RDF Smock nice piece of kit. Looks like a different DPM to the British, less angular and darker. Exactly, that's it. That was the main thing. It was actually designed by the Irish with a firm called Belgium. Centex was the name of the company that designed it. There are DPMs, they're not DPMs. They're multicams in trial at the minute. I know the Rangers use one. But the Rangers, before we got the DPMs, they had their own version of DPM. It was the Irish pattern, but it was the British colours. They're very rare. They're very, very hard to find that camouflage. It wasn't British camouflage; it was actually Irish camouflage, but in Irish colours or in Irish pattern. Um, so whatever multicam they decide to pick, I know they have like a Spanish darky multicam version, which I actually have a trial set of somewhere. I could show you sometime. It's a dark multicam, brown and black. It's actually, it looks camouflage, but it's multicam. That's the one that seems to be that the lads seem to like a lot. So I don't know what they're going to do, but there is talks in the next couple of years, for 5 to 6 years of getting DPM, which is a bit stupid because the Navy only last year, the year before, brought in DPMs for their guys, grey DPMs as their own special camouflage. So are they going to change the multicam as well? I have no idea. So we'll have to wait and see. Right, guys, it's 5 to 9, so you have 5 minutes there to start bombarding me with questions, or I am going to get the flock out of here, as they say. So yeah. I'm waiting for a question to pop in. You're all gone very quiet, lads. Friday night, I suppose you're all well supped up now at this stage. Alright, guys, so as soon as there's no questions coming in. Oh, hang on, there we go. Any Irish Army smock, there is a button pocket on the chest. What does that have? What does not have pocket? Any Irish Army smock, there is a button pocket on the chest. There's two chest pockets. You've one on either side. You've actually an internal pocket as well, a zip internal pocket. You've on the Irish smocks. Many pockets have you? You've two in the chest, two in the hips, one on the sleeve, one on the other sleeve. You have a notebook and pen one on one. You have a field dressing on the other. Yeah, you have it's not a pocket. You have a rank slide with a button on it. If that's what you're talking about in the center of the chest. Yeah, those are the only pockets I can think of. Multi-cam. Run screaming from the video. Syntax where? The Belgian, I believe, was that company that formed that was involved in the manufacture and design of the Irish DPM. I use solid and folding stock MP5 G3s used now. G3 trees used now. Oh, okay, 30 trees. All right, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, you don't see them with their long guns as much as you used to, which is a good thing, I suppose. But you don't see the PSNI with their long guns compared to before. Tomorrow I'll try and post that parcel. So wish me luck. Yeah, exactly. I'm still trying to find that frigging box that it's somewhere in Sheffield that I sent to Danny for Christmas. That button pocket for a rank marker. That's the only thing I can think of is the one in the center of the chest. It has a button on it. There's buttons on the chest pockets, but they're visibly pockets. Yeah. Right, guys. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Stay safe out there. Have a good weekend. There will be some videos coming up over the weekend, as I said. It's actually nothing that I showed you earlier on in the video, but there are some videos coming up, and I will see you all in the future. So have a safe week, have a safe weekend, and hope you all keep well, guys.